I know for me, I know it has affected my couple of relationships that I've had, but at the same time, I get cocky and I shouldn't. I think I told you about that, And it's like when they make me feel like put me in a position where I feel threatened, I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, I don't care because I have a good damn ex-husband that takes good damn care of me. And I'm like, do you really think I'm gonna miss a Christmas? Do you really think I'm gonna miss Valentine's Day? Do you really think I'm gonna miss you? Because the only thing you're doing is just laying a pipe. It ain't like you really doing that and big, because Big Daddy gonna always come through. So and I shouldn't look at things like that because it's cocky, because I know it's all God using him, as a vessel. Because if God didn't wake him up or God didn't wake me up, then guess what? Would none of that be possible? But I have to figure out, like, when you challenged me, Garfield, that the people I pick is a reflection of myself. And even I'm still harping on that. Even though I answered the question, I'm still harping on that. But I also, I grew up without love.
Did he
It was
bring
just
his
like,
balls to this?
Huh?
Did he bring his balls to this conversation at all?
Hey, all
I'm
things
like,
are
he got to be
true.
frozen. He ain't said shit.
Who? Or which one's your
Hey,
husband?
that was him. The other one was Coach.
No. Oh, that was her husband. Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
really?
know that part.
Yes, that was the ex-husband.
And she was
Yes, he was
talking
the
like that.
ex-husband.
And sorry,
Oh
I digress.
no!
Yeah, he was the
I thought
ex-husband.
he was another get.
No,
No,
he's the ex-husband.
Stop it.
bro. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it. I'm with Vic. Oh man, I thought that was like a show.
I couldn't
No,
tell.
Oh, I'm
he's
sorry. I'm sorry.
no,
I
no,
mean,
he's
I can
good.
see why there was a challenge, just in the and hey, you know,
Look,
far be it from me to
are
know
we
what's going
recording?
on, but
Hey, let's
man,
record the reactions to this right now. You know what I'm saying?
We
This is what we
already
should be
did.
recording right now, for real. Like our
I've
reaction.
been recording.
Okay, good, good. Oh, I see it say live. My bad. I'm just
even
saying.
though he wasn't the man I'm trying to get out of me, because she was the type of person, she would hold on to my dad at
Talking
whatever
about her mom.
cost. If somebody told her to stand on her head, she would. If that was to keep my dad, even though he wasn't the man he should have been, she would have did it. So I feel that I have taken on that trait. Like, look at me, look at me. But the thing is, if a man don't see you who you are for a woman, and you're a good woman, you don't have to perform. You don't have to show who you are, because he's going to see who you are. So, but to answer, I feel that we hold on to each other because we were each other's kids. Alonzo was 17 and I was, what, 18, 19?
18.
It's the Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, we grew up together. And I think that's something that we just can't let go. But I have struggled with it. That's why I say I know that I need divorce counseling, because he does deserve his life and I deserve my life. But I always tell him, find somebody for the long haul, because what if I'm not able to be there and I move on? I can't jeopardize my relationship to say, hey, I'm going to help my ex husband, because he'll be like, well, you don't need me. If you need him that bad, then go on and be with him.
Yeah.
Be with somebody that don't really want you. I mean, basically
Yeah.
speaking, you're
Mm-hmm.
not together no
Stop the
more. You
video.
signed a divorce.
Stop. Wait a minute. Did she say find somebody for the long haul in case I'm not around?
Mm-hmm.
Because she might not always be there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning of when we started watching the video, she talking about I ain't gonna miss no Christmas, no Valentine's Day, or none of this extra shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she done had a couple of her relationships compromised because of her connection to this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know him. I want to talk about the behavior, okay? Because I don't know him. But this behavior, this is substandard for a man. And it's right here. You could only have what you can afford, and they ain't got nothing to do with money. She can't do better than him. Because if I was in the market dating a woman like her, and she tell me that she can't break ties with her ex-husband, and I gotta accept that, like on no planet does that even make any sense to me. Not even on flat Earth.
I agree.
And so for the young men watching this, if you knew your granddaddy, don't do this. Don't put yourself in this situation. If you grew up with your daddy, don't put yourself in this situation. You know what I'm saying? You don't need her. You could find 10 of her before she find one of you. Man, go ahead, keep watching. Man, I'm gonna say something.
I want to add to what Vic just said, also to the young gentleman out there. Not only don't put yourself in that situation, you do know you'll never find anything healthy based on your connection with what went wrong. It doesn't work that way. The law of attraction doesn't open up another door when one isn't closed, not even cracked. You have to drop those feelings, right? And take that experience, that learning experience, and move on to the next avenue. And I'm telling you, with that connection you have with your ex, or what you call marriage, whatever, divorce, you're only going to project that onto the new one that's there.
This
because
was
you're going to have a direct contact to compare, right? So it'll never be fresh, because you'll have something, and eventually you will take back the information and talk about it with your ex. You're going to do it. So I don't even know. So all the young men out there, it's called an ex for a reason. You broke up for a reason. Leave it at that. Move on. I agree with
here's oh, go ahead, Dr. Easley.
I agree with both the brothers here. So it's no, but so it's no disagreement here in what I'm about to say, and no argument. But I wonder if there's something else going on here, guys. I wonder if they enable one another.
It's a mutually abusive relationship. It's a mutually abusive relationship. This is the definition of toxic. Like there's ain't nothing positive about this. Like she's getting from him what she would never accept somebody doing her son that way.
That's what. Yeah, you see. Yeah, see. That's what I'm saying. It seems like there's something, like they got a hold on each other.
It's mutually toxic, man. This is the definition of a toxic relationship. And they ain't got nothing to do with arguing or none of that stuff. It's the philosophy of why they still connected. They have nothing. They ain't got no roots other than a divorce. And the reality is that there's women like her that are hanging on the guys in a mutually toxic way. And she out here flexing. She flexing because she got an ex-husband still spending money. You know what I'm saying?
It did sound like a flex.
It's a big flex. She up here talking about she ain't gonna go without for Christmas or anything like that, or Valentine's Day. That's a flex. She acting like that's a benefit.
That's an underhanded insult.
It really is. It's really saying I own his balls and he rent them out for me when he can benefit me with them.
Man.
So all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a different at the end of the day, all things are true, right? So I was thinking about it. I watched it last night. I watched it again. And I was like, okay, well, one of the things that they talked about is how neither one of them had like family and stuff. And like really that's kind of sort of all the family that they have. So all things being true, could part of it not necessarily be enabling, or could part of it be to where their relationship has transitioned into more of a friend slash sister brother slash cousin? I don't know. You know what I mean? Can the relationship morph or transition to a different point or to a different phase to where now the relationship is not A, B, and C, but now it's X, Y, and Z?
underneath that premise and all things being true, let's assume that they've been together and they're still together. They don't have anybody else. Is it a trauma bond? And if we start talking about trauma bonds, then we got to start talking about therapy and counseling. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know what divorce counseling is. I think that once you make somebody an ex, then that's just it. You know what I'm saying? You pull out the Men in Black pen and you get them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's nothing else to talk
about. And that sounds a lot. I mean, from what I gathered right there, it sounds a lot like codependency. Like they can't. It's like it sounds so much like codependency, right? I mean, the way she's talking about, she wants to have her cake and eat it too. And I'm sorry, the way that man is sitting there like a lump on a log, it just shows he's broken. It just, to me, I thought that ain't a man right there. I'm like, dude, do you realize what's coming out of her mouth? Like, you ain't looking good right now. And I mean, it's embarrassing, right? That's not the definition of a divorce even. And if you want to have that communication because of mutual things you have together, you want to take care of her, she's down on her luck, she's not making the total rent, I'm all for that. Because at one point you did love her. But when it comes to the point where, like I said, I put most women on a pedestal. It's when they turn that pedestal into entitlement, is when I take them down from that pedestal, slap them up a bit, educate them, then put them right back up there. You see what I mean? Because you cannot talk down to me like that. You know, I'm helping you out. You're not entitled for that. That's me doing you a favor. That's me making sure you're okay, because at one point I loved you and we shared something. But don't take it for granted, and don't sit back and just let her talk down to you like that. You know, my father always said the richest man should talk to you, not down to you. And if he's not talking to you, there's no reason you should be in his presence, because you're not learning anything. I mean, Vic's right, man. That's embarrassing. You know, I don't use that simp talk, but I'd say that's the definition. I clip that and say definition of simp. Watch this.
It's big simp energy.
Yeah.
And I think it goes without saying, you know, like when we say, you know, to smack them up a bit, you like, you know, we mean like verbally, you know,
verbally,
yes, sir, I got you. Yes, sir. I was like, all right now, brother. No.
Hey, I glaze right on over that. I'm like, I don't even want to
right. But you know, but see, I think Garfield, though, everything that the brothers are saying, to me, still leads back to some type of enabling, some type of dependency, okay, which is what Antoine said, you know, and there's a power that they got on each other. I don't know if it's the sex, I don't know, you know, but there is something else, though. I do think that there are times when people, and this goes to what you said, Garfield, transition. I think that sometimes there could be phases, and I'm not trying to justify this, guys. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to understand it for me.
Yeah.
That sometimes there's a transition. And well, I'm sorry, excuse me. No, there's always a transition. One of the destinations, I think, is when people get into that comfort zone, if they're able to get there. You know, and it's not a position that coalesces with being in a monogamous or moving in a, you know, like in a relationship. It's okay. Now it's like Vic said, it's have that cake and eat it too thing. And you know, I've met people who are comfortable there. You know, so I think that there's something to be said. Not saying, like I said, it doesn't justify it. It's just, I think that it's to say that there's some people who kind of don't mind being there. And I think that, to me, there's some acceptance is what I'm hearing too. You know, as she was talking, you know, like it's kind of like, it's okay.
He ain't even responding. That means he accept that. That's what. Hey, look, you get whatever you can afford.
And that's a power trip right there.
Look, you get whatever you can afford. That ain't got nothing to do with money. You know what I'm saying? Like
power trip, Antoine.
Like your attitude and all that stuff, that affords you opportunities, right? So if your attitude don't change, you can't rise above a certain frequency. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? until you learn different words, different languages, different ways to communicate with people in their own space, you don't know what you can afford until you learn something new. And they don't want to learn nothing new. They're cool with that, and that's fine. But the behavior is what we're talking about. I don't know them individually. Don't care. But if you're a man out here moving this way, you ain't going to never own nothing. And everything you got, you're going to lose it. Because you are not in the position of leverage. You're at the whim of somebody else's emotions.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Totally agreed with that.
Newspaper, so that's a person that doesn't want you. So, you know, I just sometimes, like I said, when you go through so much, you can actually have somebody good to you and not know. But with me, like if I have a bad day or something, he'll cash out me money. He'd be like, here, go get your feet done. Or, you know, God woke you up this morning. He put sun on your face. Like today, I was like, man, I really need to go shopping. It's hot outside. I got to go get me some clothes. And he took and gave me $100. He said, here you go. Go shopping. Get you a couple.
I knew you were gonna want me to pause it, so I went ahead and paused it.
Bruh.
By her silence, is that what he's saying? Oh my goodness.
What do you think, Antoine?
I mean, look, he's buying her silence. Like when I say it, it's like a power trip for her. She's got this dog on a leash, right? And I always said, you give a dog a long leash, it'll piss and shit anywhere. You give a dog a short leash, it'll piss and shit right next to her. And I'm telling you, this is a power thing for her. She's enjoying this moment, right? And you know, when he looks so beaten down that he's like, my hands are in the air, whatever she wants, I'm just gonna give her, keep her quiet and keep her safe. She wins. I'm done. I'm defeated. And I'm looking at him going like, dude, even his mannerisms of how he's sitting there like, and she's talking. And I'm so embarrassed for him. And she's talking like she's God's gift to the earth. And I'm like, what? Like, oh my, I would love to see her operate without the olive branch. I would love to see how she operates.
Well, let me jump in here real quick. So, number one, we're not talking about the individual's character. We're talking about the behavior that they display, because this is just relationship behavior. That doesn't mean that they're not responsible in other areas. This could be an indicator, but we ain't talking about that. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, like the behavior that's being documented, right? With that being said, this behavior is not sustainable for a man. You know what I'm saying? It's just not sustainable. Like, you will never have anything. And if you have something, you'll never keep it. Because again, one of the notes I left off on was that you at the whim of somebody else's emotions. You know what I'm saying? And what did she do? She said, it's hot outside. She tired. He didn't send her $100.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Like, it went that quick because of the emotional element. Now, I will say this too. And Dr. Easley, before he bounced, was talking about, you know, there's an enabling behavior for both people. I will say this. Most people, every human being is a manipulator first in communication. When you're born, you can't tell anybody that you're hungry without a sound, body language, hand motions, stuff like that. Babies actually train you to feed them. Babies yell and scream until they learn languages and words to communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching you their language. So up until the time that you get words, education, and learn some tact to go with that, you're a manipulator at your core. Your first language is manipulation because you don't have no words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you get older and have more life experience, options, money, you enhance your manipulation skills. You either use it for good or use it for bad.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you use it for personal benefit. But some people would rather be people of service, work the environment, and do for others and get out of that environment what they did for other people. You know what I'm saying? I.e., if you're cooking, you're not going to starve if you're cooking. You know, you hear me all the time say, get in the kitchen. That way you don't have to wait for a plate. You see what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
benefit of you being in the kitchen is that you get to eat while you cooking.
That's true.
Okay. In this situation, she in the kitchen and she feeding him when she feel like it's time for him to eat. You know, with his own money. He's renting access to someone that does not want him, that he already divorced.
Yeah, who filed for divorce? Garfield?
I don't remember. I know she did.
Okay, how long have they been divorced?
They've been divorced for a few years. They were married. They was together for 11, married for 4, and then I don't know how, but they've been divorced for a couple of years at least.
At least 5 years, or right or no?
I want to say it's over 5.
Have they ever lived anywhere else?
You know what? I don't think so. I think they're all from I think they're all from the same hometown.
Man, look, and that's another thing too. If you come from a small town and you don't leave from where you from, this looks like that's the best that you could do.
Yep, I was just about to say that.
Like, that's just it. I mean, we've been around the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And no, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I left a long time ago. Yeah. All
You
the
know,
things.
either one of them dated other than each other after the divorce.
Yeah, he currently has a girlfriend, and I don't think she has a boyfriend.
And let me just get this straight. And she's talking like that. He has a girlfriend.
And I don't know if you saw the part, but she did mention that they talk on the phone like 2 to 3 times a day as well.
You know what? They might as well just be in a poly relationship.
But I don't think they're like. I don't think that they like. I don't think they get together or anything.
It doesn't matter
like
if it's
that.
any conflict. If y'all gonna be cool and talking to each other, you might well be in the same relationship.
Yeah.
Because like, what other benefit is there for your ex-girlfriend to talk to your current girlfriend, or your ex-wife talking to your current, you know what I'm saying, a romantic interest? That's no added value at all. Like, unless you're trying to figure out how to get back into the mix and be player number 2.
I don't know too many dudes that's gonna. I don't know too many women, unless it's unless they don't know, unless it's it's communicated early in a relationship. I don't know too many women that's going to be okay with their man, cash apping their ex-wife some money. You know what I mean? And let's reverse it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
let's put the shoe on the other foot. How
How
many men are going to be okay with they current girlfriend, getting money from talking 2 or 3 times to their ex-husband on the phone and getting money from them every day?
I just don't understand how that's working. I mean, I'm still in awe, honestly.
Me too.
I am still in awe and shocked that he's with somebody and that person is allowing him to be looked at like that and used like that. I'm really in awe. Like, I'm just saddened, to be honest with you.
For the sake of the conversation in terms of us reversing it and putting men in a situation like that, man, we catch all kind of charges. You know what I'm saying? We stay in some trouble. Because the natural progression is, if you give somebody an inch, they're gonna take a mile. It's just no way around it. Like, you either gonna get more time, you want to look for something more. The reason that you're there is not just because of the piece; it's the indication that you can have it all. Because if the man that I am and the men that I know don't commit to partial benefits. And I'm not, and if she could still go have her additional relationships, she don't need my money. She don't need none of my resources. Look, this behavior is delusional. Okay, but it's true, and it's valid for them, and it works valid. For them. But
like I said, it works for them.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
That's where and that's where I kind of like, I not question, but where there's the um well, I would say this. I just figured it out. But this is more so, I would say this is probably more so not the norm. Would y'all agree, or you feel like this is more something that's normal, probably pretty common? Um, I would say it's probably not the norm.
I don't.
You
I,
muted Antoine.
I think if you look at, I think when you start talking about what the norm is, I think you got to start getting into numbers,
Yeah.
zip codes, geography and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
because you can only date and attract, what I'm saying, what you can attract based on your environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to Rhode Island and get mad at as a shortage on El Salvadorian women that you want to date. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, but
Right.
when I say norm, as far as there's a certain moral and ethic code, that's not being followed. That's a norm across the board. There's certain morals, values, and ethic codes, right?
everybody ain't raised the same way, Antoine.
Not everybody's raised the same way, but in general, there's certain norm, morals, and ethic codes. You know right from wrong. You can't tell me that in certain areas they know right from wrong is right from wrong. I'm not saying there's not a token out there that you have to make it idiot proof. I'm just saying there's certain morals and values and right and wrong.
And I agree with that.
And you cannot say that, well, depending on their demographic or where they are, that this would be considered normal. Because any man looking at this in general would go, dude, like, I mean, I know you may have two parents, but there's something wrong if you're not hearing what's coming out of her mouth, right? Because you're a grown man. You watch TV, you have education, you have places to go to get some sort of form of knowledge. And I'm sure there's people that tell him in his life, brother, come on, cut the umbilical cord. So that's all I'm saying as far as the norm.
I'll say this right here. I'm gonna put it in the context of, like we talk about how some wealthy men can't date in general because, like, if they wanted to go meet somebody that was, I would say, average, they're gonna have a 9 to 5. The hours are not gonna be permissible. That's what I'm talking about, getting into like demographics. You know what I'm saying? Economics plays a role. You know what I'm saying? On people's visibility. Like folks with money that don't work for nobody, they at the bar at 2:00 in the afternoon on Mondays and Tuesdays. The average person is punching the clock and just got back off their lunch break. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That might have been 30 minutes. So the availability of who you want to date based on what your resources are, that is the demographic piece. However, this is an exception. I do not believe that this is the norm amongst men of a certain experience, certain age, certain income, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This right here is, it's like young relationships that are still trying to figure it out, but in older people. Like, I expect conversations like this amongst, singles in their 20s, what I'm saying? And fighting when they ain't figured themselves out, being difficult, bonding through trauma, and having short-term flings based on emotion and no substance. But like, I don't think that they are completely like that, but the behavior says it's like that. You know what I'm saying? The behavior that they've given us to critique says that they have a trauma bond, likely. They need each other to some degree, and they both benefit from it. But this is no relationship that anybody should watch and say, I want something just like that. And I don't think that they came out here to tell us that our relationship is so awesome and you should be like us. They're just trying to say what works for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But what works for them don't all the time make sense to the world. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no different. I mean, I've had conversations with you, and I've talked to Antoine. You know what I'm saying? In just regular dialogue like we do on this panel, but we haven't had anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's delusional to me. You know what I'm saying? The behavior is, I don't know anything about any particular individual, but like, they got what they got, and they are happy where they are. So that's all that matters, I guess.
Did he give any indication of how, or both of them, how long they expect this to go on? Like this, is there a
Mm-mm.
time period? Like I'm going to do this for you till I'm old and gray and use my pension for it too.
Oh, let's see.
Couple outfits.
I was Obama,
So
man.
I'm used to that. I'm
Yeah,
spoiled to that.
spoiled.
To
Yeah.
to where like my last boyfriend, he was a good guy, but he just got a lot of issues. And it was like, even though he would give me $100 for Christmas or gift cards or something like that, he wasn't the type of person that if I'm having a bad day, like Alonzo, here, I got you. Just go do something special for yourself. And I'm spoiled to that. And it's like, if can't no other man do that, I'm like, that's all right. Alonzo.
Yeah. Alonzo give you that $100. He don't want you coming over his house washing all his clothes, picking up all his clothes and stuff.
The reason why I do that is
Yeah.
because when I met her and we went through, it was good at first, and we went through a storm. I never knew what it was when Appalachians see that bill in the mail, the red thing saying they're gonna cut your power off. And I'm like, yeah, right. I never forget. I was in the bedroom playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
On
And
Sega or what?
yeah, and it was like
Yeah.
summertime. And then I heard dude, and all the power went out. And I was like, oh my God, you
Mm.
know. And one time we got the lights cut out, and it was fall. It was so, you don't know how cold your house is till your lights get cut out. We was laying in bed, had coats on, holding each other, trying to stay warm. And I mean, we struggled so bad. We get paid, go to Brown Derby, go out to eat, blow money, come home, look in the back of the
Brown
freezer,
Derby.
starving, you know, and we just struggled so bad that our own families most time turn their back on us. So she's like the only family that I really know. And that's why I say I'm not going to see her struggle. And God has blessed me to be able to do what I do, you know, only through him. Because I mean, I have a lot of health conditions I'm dealing with now, but I still have the strength to do what I do. And I'm not going to let her fall by the wayside.
So let me ask you, Garfield, did they say the reason why they got divorced?
Yeah, they did say. They did say. I had to find it. It might have been on another video though.
In a rough, you know, roughly what was the reason? Irreconcilable differences because of
It kind of she kind
Nope.
of gave she kind of gave a long definition. She kind of gave a long reason for it. It wasn't just because of this or that. I think and I don't want to misquote her or
Right.
misparaphrase anything that she said. So I don't really remember.
But they have no kids, right?
They don't have kids. Neither one of them.
Wow. And I'm assuming they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
And so what a waste. Sad. Honestly sad. It's a sad situation. You know, she's spoiled by this and him saying that he'll never see her suffer, and you know, she'll never get she'll never get a backbone on her own, and he'll never have one that's strong. Because they're so codependent on each other, it seems like. Well, if anything goes wrong with my current girlfriend, I'm just going, you know, talk to her or something, and vice versa. And you know, I don't think her. It's from what I gather, I don't even think her ex was that bad of a guy. She just was comparing it to him and what he does, and you know, meanwhile he could never shine in her eyes because she's, you know, got that going on.
I think I think it's hard to move forward when you got a safety net. You know, if you trying to move forward in your relationship and the person is not giving you everything, but you can get it from the ex, it's kind of like, like you kind of said, having your cake and eating it at the same
Shut
time.
all that shit up. Look, this is why I always say, ain't nobody coming to save us. This man had a story about the power going out. And now he's stuck with a chick that he cash out $100 to and tell him to go shopping for the rest of his life. What did I just say? Trauma bond, didn't it? Look, all that shit is bullshit, bro.
It all come down to that moment.
And then use that weak ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he blessed and stuff, man. Go give it to somebody that earned it. Instead of buying access, because you can't get nothing else. This
Yep.
shit weak. This shit weak as hell.
Yep. Totally agree.
He said weak.
It's weak.
It is.
Like think about it. If that was your daddy, would you want to be like him?
Absolutely not.
Come on now. And women, if you listening to this, do you want your son to accept certain treatment like that? That's what the conversation got to be about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, we trying to mentor young men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Young men have mothers. Mothers need to get the message so they can protect their own sons.
Yep.
Before they wind up having a simp ass son, making them a grandmother to some toxic ass woman that just takes your son's resources and then gets on camera and laugh about the shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man, where your self-respect at? Where your fucking nuts at, man? The shit's weak.
That's what I would ask for if I was him for Christmas. I would ask her back for his nuts. I would say, can you for Christmas, can you please give them back to me?
The shit's disgusting.
All
Like,
things are true. Yeah.
Wow.
Get to mute his mic. He's like, game over. We're done.
No, that's terrible.
Man.
Those are the women that always got a butt, a well, or something like that because they got a sucker somewhere like that, moving like that, that gives them the exception to the rule. And they don't even qualify for the exception.
Totally agree.
What?
That's all you got, Antoine?
When did we shift? You know what I'm saying? When did it become cool to sit down to piss?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think some of it has to do with not having information. I see a lot of dudes. So I'm gonna be real, just kind of like I told you before. Until I was exposed to certain information or certain content, I had no idea. Like you said, I cut my own hair since '89. You know what I mean? 99% of the time. You know, so I didn't hear all those barbershop talks. I didn't hear all of those things that men were saying in the barbershops and about women. I didn't hear all of those.
Okay.
So a lot of the information I got exposed to over the last, 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? Like men, being understanding their value and different things. Like I didn't hear this stuff growing up.
Well, let me jump in there real quick because I kind of know what Antoine is. I think I know where Antoine is going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably going to say
Antoine about to say that's bullshit because, like, here's the thing: that dude in his 40s, okay, everybody was in the house in 2020. He had access to the same information you had. Okay, and when you wanted better, you sought out different information sources so you could become better, to assert yourself the right way.
Yeah.
He got what he want. That's it. Nothing else. Because you can't have nothing if you giving all your resources to somebody that already divorced you. Like, you getting pulled in multiple directions. You still signed for a car that you wrecked. And you still got the note. And you got these other cars. You know what I'm saying? To pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm using that in a comparison sense. You know what I'm saying? But he upside down in his own manhood. He done got his shit repoed. She the pimp. She done strong-armed him. Laughed in his face in front of people. She done treated him like Jada done treated Will. And he just being the docile, grass-eating lion. The behavior, I don't know him. Okay? Yeah. I want to make sure we capture that. I do not know this man. But he would not be no friend of mine.
Nope. I was just about to say that. I'm as good as the company you keep. And that was definitely one company. I'm like, dude.
Like, no.
You're an anchor. You're an anchor. You're
no,
an anchor. I don't need that toxicity. No.
It's not even that. It's the lack of accountable masculinity. It's
Man.
not alpha. It's not beta. It's just about accountable masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Like, men should grow up, if they got their fathers or they got another male figure in their life, they should want to be like those men that display the level of accountable masculinity that I'm talking about. And I'm talking about being a man, finding balance, and taking care of the obligations that you commit to, that you benefit from, right? I'm not in that type of relationship, so I don't know the feelings that go with that. But I'm trying to tell young men, that's not who you're gonna be when you grow up. You know what I'm saying? That's not who you want to be when you grow up in terms of relationship options.
Mhm.
Don't put yourself in no position where your start point in life is somebody saving you. He done got saved like a little hoe.
Well, let's do this. Let's unpack it because
I don't get it, man. Look, like,
Yeah.
no, because if you don't look, the whole
That-
situation started off at a point of trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And now he's caught in an abusive cycle. The behavior says
The behavior.
the behavior says it's an abusive cycle,
Mhm.
and it's so routine that it's just normal, and they can laugh about it and giggle about it. He can sit still about it, and some got, I don't know, man. They just no.
Well, let's do this then. What I want to do is I want to unpack his behavior or the behavior that we see, and let's see if we unpack it. Let's see how he, you know, how is this going to work out in his benefit? You know what I mean? Because let's come up with a solution. You know what I mean? How is he going to benefit anything? Like, where's the benefit? This is for men. This is a men's platform. So him continuing this type of lifestyle and this type of relationship with this woman, his ex, how is this beneficial to him?
Garfield, why can't we just say this?
Mhm.
There is no benefit. There is nothing good about his
I'm fine
situation.
with it.
There is nothing good about his situation. There's
Okay.
no benefit, and I'm sure the sex ain't even that good. I'm sorry to tell you. Okay, it ain't that good. Nothing. She has nothing worth going back and crawling back for. She has nothing even worth supporting. It's over. It's an X for a reason. Why does it have to? We have to find a way to make something. No, say it like it is. There's nothing good. Nothing.
That's all I wanted to know.
Hey,
you know what?
Look.
Nothing good.
So
okay,
Yeah.
to
Because the thing about it is, I'm okay with all things being true. And if there are people in these type of relationships, I want someone to be able to show me or tell me how being in this type of relationship is beneficial. I don't see the benefit in it. I agree with y'all. I agree that once the relationship is over, the relationship is over. You know what I mean? But there are some men who may be in his situation.
Then they need to have a friend like me. They need to have a friend like me that's gonna go, bro.
Like, I'm not saying that there is a benefit. I'm just saying if there is a benefit, I don't see one. So I'm asking y'all, if y'all see a benefit, please tell me, because I don't see one.
Well, if you don't see one, then definitely there is no benefit.
Yeah, but he's benefiting something from the relationship. Or maybe he's not. I don't know.
The codependency part of always having something.
The reason why I ask, because if there's someone watching in his shoe and they're like, "Well, I don't rock with y'all. I believe I roll with Alonzo 100%." Blah blah blah. I would want to know that person's opinion and why. That's all I was saying. What would be the possible benefit? I don't agree at all.
I would ask and put it in the YouTube comments. But you know how people say, give people the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, that part.
Why would you want the doubt?
Yeah.
Anything that starts off on doubt can't be beneficial. I don't want it. And if you do benefit from the doubt, what's the benefit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in this situation, man, like, no, there's just no way around it. Like, I don't move that way, and I don't have friends that move that way, so I don't have any input on that. But I'll say this is super simple behavior. You need to put a cape on it. You know what I'm saying? Flying through the wind like a sucker. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
embarrassing, man.
It's just cash app and holds $40 from all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say. The behavior is disturbing to me because in the times in which we live, men should be working on their economic situation so they can be in better position to have better options just in general.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Quality of life. Don't look, fellas, you ain't got to chase no woman. You really don't. Just work on yourself. And wherever you are, women will be there. Women find comfort. Bottom line, they want to live good too.
Mm-hmm.
But the women that qualify to live better and have a relationship will be present wherever you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take everybody with you. And honestly, in this situation, since both of them from a small town, neither one of them can take either one anywhere. They ain't got no choice but to help each other with the bills. You know what I'm saying? And sending each other some Ross money to go shopping.
Ross money.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So like people, again, I love this phrase that I came up with. You can only have what you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what $100 gets you, then that's what you got.
That's what you got. $100.
I'll say it again, man. You're as good as the company you keep. It always comes back down that to me. You're as good as the company you keep. And I look to pride myself with good company. Some people that I can learn from, people that could put me in check because they're not afraid to. They'll tell me when I'm going wrong. But this gentleman right here, I mean, I'm just curious, what kind of woman would he be with that would even accept that in one thing? That's what I'm trying to. And one way I'm looking at it, like, what kind of woman are you with that would be okay with that arrangement? Like, that's some low self-esteem over there as well. Like, dude, you know, you gotta aspire to be higher. I mean,
that's a good point. That's a good
I
point.
just don't get it. You know?
Super. It is a relationship founded on low self-esteem between both parties. Straight up, they honestly that behavior deserves is they both parasites on each other to some degree. The behavior, I don't know them.
The behavior, yeah.
The behavior, because people gonna clip out and remember the pieces that they were saying, and even the two guests that I've never interacted with that was on here before having that chat. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate them being so forthcoming and everything.
Absolutely.
But young men watching this relationship ain't for you. Okay, like I'm telling you that this is what happens when this is all you can afford.
Yep.
Like, I don't care what people say. Yeah, we done heard people say get a dog and die alone. We done heard, but hey, fellas, your ass can get a dog and die alone too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't worked yourself in a position where you can have an elevated dialogue about a conversation like this, you're gonna that's gonna be your option, is to be subservient to somebody that know your worth better than you do. See, when you know your worth, people can't play with your value. She knows his value. He don't. The behavior says that. I don't know.
The behavior. Yes, based off of the different things.
Yes, because I ain't grow up with this man, I ain't grow up with her, whatever. But in my travels, women like that got a bunch of kids and they mad at every man.
Yeah.
And the reality is that they became bastard factories instead of working on themselves. Okay.
She's one. She don't have any kids. They don't have any kids together or anything.
And that's why I'm saying I don't know.
And every man before him was smart.
But I'm talking about the young men that's watching this. That's around women. That's gonna be around a bunch of kids. Around women with a bunch of kids that talk the way that she talks. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm glad that they ain't got no children.
Right?
Because if she got this kind of control over him with no children, what happened when you got some other folks' lives and resources tied up that's legally obligated at that point? You see what I'm saying? It's different, because if you can manipulate him right now and y'all ain't got no children, you don't think she's gonna use the children manipulating too?
Yeah. And that's exactly what would have happened. And Vic said something very right. Vic said something very, it's true. And I always said it too. Work on yourself. You'll have the best pickings. Once you put yourself in a good financial situation, grounded, you know where you're going. You may not have all the money yet, but you're on your purpose and your mission. You're going to attract, with that frame of mind, you're going to attract the right woman for you. I love when Vic does that. He just
Ooh.
makes me laugh. You know what I mean? It's
I
so
think it's
important, man. I
yeah.
mean, listen,
Hey, and
like I
anybody
said,
that
I started
disagree with what I'm
late.
saying,
But the
anybody
thing
that
is,
disagree with what I'm saying, you can buy my book. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I don't live the life to talk the shit that I got to say. My lights didn't get
Period.
cut off. You know what I'm saying? I put the work in.
I think it's safe to say that we all think that based off the behavior, you know, as far as men, that this behavior and that he's displaying is not beneficial to men.
no.
We don't see how this can be beneficial at all. If there is somebody to see a benefit, please share with us. Put it in the comment because we just don't see it from the other side, and it
Not
is what
from
it
the other
is.
side.
We
From a
don't see it from any other side.
no, from a
Okay,
healthy,
clean it up.
from a healthy point of view.
There we go. We don't see it from a healthy point of view.
That's all
I
I'm
like that,
saying.
Antoine.
Yeah, it's very important you say that. You know, we're all. What makes a person also when you know a person's healthy is when he's able to point out his own flaws and things he needs to work on. Meaning he's not worried about what you think of him. He's more worried about what he needs to correct in himself to make it acceptable, right? And today, men have a problem doing that, and you shouldn't, right? You should instill these strong morals and values. Like I always said, I was just talking to this young gentleman the other day. He's in his 20s. He goes, you know, I have nobody in life. I have no this and that, and you know, I'm good at school and I'm going. And I told him, I said, you know what you need to do besides me? You need to surround yourself and find mentors. Find a brother and a friend. Find a someone you can talk to. Find the people you need to replace the ones you don't have. What you're saying you're missing, go seek that out. Right? As in the process of making your life better. You have the internet. You have more access than I had when I was growing up. Fortunately for me, I had two older brothers to make the mistake to tell me what to do and what not to do. Because they go, oh no, I did that one. This is how you got to respond to this one, right? So I was fortunate that way. Today they have the internet. They have channels like this talking. And I always say, the key, work on yourself. And if you don't have it in your life, seek out. It's okay. But you have to admit you're wrong. And you have to admit you need it in order to find it, though. If you think you're going to be all cocky and find it, no. You know, it's like when that person's telling a joke and you heard the joke already. I'm the type of guy that would still let him tell it and laugh at the same joke that I know what he's going to say and I know what the ending is. I'm not going to break his rhythm and take away the joy in the joke. I'm going to uplift him by pretending I didn't hear about it and then laugh with him. It's a lot better than cutting him short and say, yeah, I heard that already. Ha ha, I'm done. Right? You killed the conversation. You killed the room. So I think that's what young men today need to do. You know, today everything is so vanity and what you have in your possessions and building yourself. You need money today. And the economy is not getting better just yet. You need to focus on what it is you want to do. You know, we have younger millionaires today than we've ever had based on YouTube and Instagram. And, you know, most of them don't even want to go to college because their Instagram channel is making them more money than what they're going to learn in school anyways. Although I still encourage them to go to school and get an education. But it's changed. But a lot of these young kids are making all this kind of money thinking they don't need adult supervision or adult help. Well, I made this money, you didn't make it. That's all they go by, you know. So I'm just saying you have to find a strong base. You have to find people.
So what would you tell either one of y'all? Actually, both of y'all, and we'll wrap it up with this.
Let me say. I already know about. What would you tell young men to avoid a situation like this?
That find them, or that are in that situation currently. What would you tell them?
Be good at something. Get a skill.
There you go.
Look, if you ain't good at nothing, somebody gonna make you good for them. And to their benefit.
In therapy.
And you're gonna have some therapy in the mix too. You're gonna need more therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
good.
You gotta find a skill so the skill is actually therapeutic too. You know what I'm saying? You like take your talents and use them for you. Stop letting other people manipulate your value. The first language that people learn is manipulation. You know what I'm saying? And it's their first tongue. And no matter what it comes down to, when you hit survival, all you got is manipulation. Like, look what a person does when they homeless. They stand outside and say, they give you a sob story. They tell you why they homeless, and they hope that you will be generous enough to believe their story to put something in their cup, right or wrong.
Right.
Absolutely.
Manipulation.
Is that not manipulation in itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you feel some type of way. Well, I don't.
Manipulation is a survival language.
Mm.
Like, manipulation is always present. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go do things. You have tact. Tact is manipulation. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a bad thing to manipulate stuff. It's actually a good thing if you recognize your environment to where you know where you fit in it. That's why you know how to manipulate things. You know what I'm saying? Like, when kids grow up, they pit parents against each other. Dad said I could do this, and mom said I could do that. And then next thing you know, they've sown misinformation between the parents, and now the parents got to have a sit down, right? Because the child is playing on both sides, right?
Yep.
What is she doing? Playing every side that benefit her.
Yep.
It, like, no matter how you slice it, I don't care how pretty it sounds or none of that stuff. I don't need none of my exes.
Not.
Same.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Yeah.
And as a man,
right.
If you a man, ain't nobody coming to save you, but a woman
Not
that's
at
ready to
all.
manipulate you.
Exactly.
Your homeboys can't come get you. You know what I'm saying? They can't make you be the man that it takes to operate alone. They can't teach you survival skills. Because after a certain period of your life, you're going to be codependent on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now you just somebody's old, slow son in a part-time relationship.
Oh, slow son.
It's true. He's
What
absolutely
about you,
Yeah,
Antoine?
for real, women that are in position in relationships like that one with men that have that type of behavior are being raised by that woman. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, because a woman's natural instinct is to mother, okay? It's to nurture and convince that the person that she's with, that she got everything handled. You ain't got to worry about nothing. All you got to do is just give me this and I'll take care of everything. They don't want you in the details. You know what I'm saying? But the men that she was talking about that say, well, if he can't do this for me, and you know what I'm saying, they act like I'm gonna go without. But see, her ceiling is $100 at Ross.
Ross.
It's true. He's right.
You can only have what you can afford. So who's running up to that? I don't know. That's an unhealthy competition in itself. I don't know no men that's gonna be in no competition with somebody that's, you know what I'm saying, like exhibiting that kind of behavior. Like, that's who you deserve. Because if that's your bar, because that's her bar for comparison. Think about it, right? She had the audacity to mention the other boyfriends or other men that she's dated as if he's the bar, and you know what I'm saying, and saying like, you ain't gonna be better than him, no way. That's all she's saying. All you could do is be second chair to that. You got me fucked up.
It's true.